but not one of my designs. Today we are going to go snowman. And here they are. Tilda does the most beautiful, she calls them her basics, which makes me a bit cross because they're anything but basic. But they're ones that tend to stay in stock more than the others, which are just printed and gone. So the basics stay in print. Some of the time I couldn't get all the ones that I wanted, but I have got a beautiful array for you today. And this week's theme sounds like we have a theme every week. We don't have a theme every week, but it just so happened that we thought we're going to do wintry makes today, this week rather. So we had Jane's gorgeous Arctic quilt yesterday and those incredible fabrics which you went crazy for. Thank you very much indeed. Now today's fabrics, the colours work beautifully. If you have already bought this fabric yesterday, then this is going to build on that selection, build on that colour theme and get you all set up for those wintry makes. Does it have to just be wintry makes? No, not at all. I made Wales out of these fabrics as well. They are stunning, they are beautiful, and they are very, very versatile, very, very beautiful. These are the snowmen we made, oh gosh, years ago. I was going through my sample boxes this morning trying to find them. Like, where are they? They're not in any of the Tilda sample boxes. No, of course not, because they're in the Christmas cupboard, because we bring them out every year for Christmas and they sit on the table every year for Christmas, and they are such a lovely, easy make. But what I'm going to do for you today, I'm going to show you how to do the Snowman Block. We have actually got one. Jane is just finishing off the binding for me because I ran out of time. So let me show you the fabrics. I promise you, and my subscribers will tell you, I promised you an insane deal on these because there's a lot of fabric here and I don't want to be taking it with us. And I know that you love Tilda as much as I do. So do you want to see possibly the most beautiful bundle? It's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Look at this. This is a 1/2 metre with 1 metre of lupine bundle, which I just adore, which means that you can make, it says pillow, please don't be fooled. This is nearly 1 metre long, as I discovered today when I sat down to make it and went, oh, so he takes a bit longer than you'd expect. I know. So hence why Jane is just finishing off my binding. I haven't done him as a cushion. I've done mine as a wall hanging so that I can hang it up and have it up there for Christmas, just above my snowmen that I made a couple of years ago. What is in this bundle and how much are we saving? You are saving £25, I believe. I think if you are going to go for the 1/2 metre bundle, and bearing in mind you only use a little bit of each of these, hardly any of these ones, so you could go on and you could use this for yesterday's quilt, or if you got the panel, yesterday's panel, let me just show you yesterday's panel. I don't know if we have any of these left, but if you bought yesterday's panel and you wanted to bind it or you wanted to add on some extra sashing, because you've got all of this, then look! Oh, just look at him. This one here, he's my favourite. And yeah. Yes, says Gemma, should be $94.99 this bundle. Today, just $69.99 for the 1/2 metre bundle. We do have a long quarter bundle with a 1/2 metre of lupine, should you wish. But can I just show you how beautifully these fabrics here work if you want to extend, or if you want to introduce some pink. You've also got the greys here because you've got greys throughout here as well. So this bundle extends yesterday's fabrics, an absolute treat. So maybe you're going to mix and match. Maybe you're going to grab, I don't know, some of the bears from yesterday and then put some stars, or take the pink that's in there for their cheeks and use a little bit of the pink there Did you see this, by the way, on a close-up yesterday? Because I absolutely adore this fabric. Look at that. But you can just see, if you want to use it in conjunction with yesterday's fabric, just how beautifully that will go. I digress. Obviously, because we've also got walruses that would also go very beautifully. This was yesterday's fabric. Walruses, narwhals, all sorts. But again, all very, very beautiful. Now, this fabric bundle that we've got for you today, I am going to print off and send. If you're going for the ½ metre bundle with the metre of lupine, then I am also going to print off for you a few instructions. Okay, I'm going to give you the angel mouse. I've got this as a long quarter bundle with a ½ metre of lupine, so that you can make this, and that will do that easily. It's not as heavily discounted, and you have to print this off. These are all free patterns, by the way. They're all available on Tilda's World, so you can download these yourself, print them off yourself. But if you're buying the ½ metre bundle, I will do that for you. So this is the angel mouse. We've chosen this fabric to do him, her in, and then you can do your skirt or your tutu in this, or in the, I think she's got the blue one there, and she's got a pink spot, but we've got the pink crosshatch to go with her. So this is so you can do your angel mouse, or back your cushion, or edge your cushion, or bind your cushion, because all those colours are in there. Gorgeous. The Happy Winter Snowmen table decoration is just the easiest. Look, you basically cut 2 of those, sew round it, that's a box bottom, so that it stands up, and away you go. Like, they really are insanely easy. And then you just colour the edge end of a skewer, like a wooden kebab stick. I coloured mine orange for a carrot and stick it on, and then grab a couple of twigs, glue them on, job done. So you get that pattern as well, because you're going to have a lot of these left over, so you might want to accessorise. You will get the Happy Winter Snowmen pillow, but also the quilt, because the quilt has got all the instructions for the snowmen. It might be that you just want to do them as placemats, or just as a table runner. It's entirely up to you, or as a bed runner would look gorgeous. So you are going to get 1, 2, 3, 4 patterns when you buy the ½ metre bundle with this. It's got £25 off today. If you want to buy the long quarters, then you will be able to make this, this and this. You still need the instructions. You'll have to back that in one of these if you're making it as a cushion. But it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. So that is today's offering for you. We've got a little bit cut to order, but really not very much. Cynthia says, wow, now that's a real treat of a bundle. I would so jump on that deal if I could. Lovely Cynthia lives in America, so we can't ship out there, sadly. So that's why you're going to have to buy vicariously for her. That's what we're going to have to do. But this bundle is an absolute treat and a must-have. And when it's gone, it is gone. Claire's here. Christina's here. Anne's here. Good morning. The sun is out today. Yes, it is. Sharon's here. Rebecca's here. Jane's here. And Joy's here. And she says, oh, it's lovely fabric. It really is. Jo is here as well. Now, out of these fabrics, like I say, we have in the past made the snowmen. There they are. Dink, dink, dink. But also, let's not forget the Wales. Look, there's your Wales fabric. But you could also do it in the greys. We did the whale cushion as well, didn't we? I don't know what I've done. What did I do with the whale cushion, Jane?
Was it in Freddie's room?
I don't know if he's already had it. No, I don't think I've given it to him yet, because we were going to do the pink one for Emily.
Yeah.
But this is what we're making today. we need to put buttons on. We haven't got that far. I mean, gosh, poor old Jane has been frantically binding it for me. But this is today's make. And the block is just repeated. What I thought I might do is, we've got those wooden handmade with love buttons, haven't we, Jane? I thought I might put those on there. We've got some Tilda buttons left. But this is today's rather glorious make. And that was made out of this bundle. So the only thing, Kinky Jane, that is missing are the odd buttons. Oh, Jane's found the cushion. So there you go. Out of the fabrics. Yeah, and the chambray. We did. Yeah, that was the turquoise chambray, wasn't it? Yeah. So that is the whale cushion. So this is a really, really versatile bundle. In fact, you could make this, and look, you've only used like a tiny, tiny, tiny little bit. You could then also make the whale as well. Grab some of our chambray. Our chambrays work really beautifully with all of these fabrics. And the mint chambray as well works very beautifully. So the only thing that we've got to add will be some little buttons. And you can either have your Tilda ones, or we've got these little wooden handmade with love ones, and then they've got their buttons. How gorgeous is today's make? I just love it. We haven't put their eyes on yet. So for the eyes, you can either use a black fabric marker, or, you see she puts them just there, or you can do French knots. It's entirely up to you. I don't know if I've got my proper black fabric marker here. I might do them in French knots. Oh, I don't know. Decisions. So we did this morning. I did the cutting yesterday and then the sewing today. But I absolutely love this. Absolutely love it. Morning, everyone. So, lazing around when I should be sewing a bag that needs to be completed by Friday. Yeah, but that's all good, Laurie, you see. I needed to get this done this morning. Only just finished it. So if you would like this today, and my goodness, the price is insane, then please do grab that, because I can't hold that price. It's got to be whilst we have these stocks, and my goodness, they are stunning. Just stunning. So that is it, and it's a pretty easy one to make, actually. Do you want to have a look? Where to hang him? We've had such gorgeous makes this week. I need to take my buttons off. Turn my iron on. Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. We've backed ours in calico. Oh, see, we have made many Tilda things, and if you want to make the angel mouse, by the way, can I just show you that this is the bear that I made? It'll be about that big. So that'll be how big it is. Whenever we do a Tilda show, I raid the children's to raid their bedrooms. I'm like, right, I need the bird cushion back. I need the whales back. Come on, back they come. And indeed, along they come. Back they come. And, come on, snail. The snail was actually, Freddie wanted that one. I haven't quite given him that one because I can't quite bear to, because I love it too much. Right there. But yeah, Emily's monkey is in a similar colourway as well. Where are we going to put this? Where are we going to... Bear with me, caller. We might just have to pop this up here. But but this will now henceforth be part of our Christmas decorations. Yes, yes it will. I love it. I just love it. And you can be making that too. That's the cushion size. Only the cushion is slightly larger. The cushion has another 2-inch strip, top and bottom, with little squares with all of those fabrics in as well. But I just wanted that as a wall hanging. I didn't need all of that on it. So let's just show you that. Can you see just along there? It's got like a little checkerboard, but I wanted it to be a wall hanging. And I just love it. She's so clever. So clever. And all the things that she brings us and makes. Very, very, very impressive every time. So you pick which bundle you would like, whether you want the long quarter and the half metre or the half metres and the metre. It's like 5 metres of fabric in there. It's a big one. The saving is immense. I can't lie about that. It's insane. But I did promise you an insane saving. £25 on that is mega. Absolutely mega. And you know the reason why. You know that these next shows over the next few weeks, whatever fabric comes in, they've got to go. They can't just sit on the shelves. Normally this would be a fabric that we would have in and we'd sit on, and it wouldn't matter if it didn't sell straight away, because we'd know that we'd use it and it would just be one that would be used an awful lot. But at the moment it's like, right, it's got to come in and it's got to go out. This pattern, by the way, has got beautiful hearts as well, so you might just want to do a little heart block and have those for table mats or whatever it is that you are thinking. So I've done a bit of cutting. Let me move my mat out of the way. Something like your perfect 5 is really handy, by the way, when you're doing the cutting, and it all is set out really easily for you, so that you can see where you're at. There's your sewing, your cutting, and then you can also decide which ones you want and pop them in there. So this is my main body piece. So this is this part here. Just label everything like a crazy person, would be my advice. Just label it. And I've drawn diagonal stripes across here. What I should have done, that I didn't, is prep my fabric with a spray. I should have done that, and I sort of got overexcited and didn't. So, you know, those little bits of preparation do save you a bit of, I'm just going to say jiggery pokery later. And we're going to sew on that diagonal line, so basically creating a snowball effect on this, which is ironic as it is in fact a snowman. And if you want to sort of chain piece around, when I did the wall hanging, I did I chain pieced each edge, if you like. And you'll probably end up like I have, with a couple of pairs of scissors hanging around the place. these will fold and press out like that, and you can then trim back these sides. Just make sure you trim back the right ones is all I'm going to say. So press, 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 and then, and this is why it would have been a better job if I had actually, because we're on the bias there, if I had actually treated my fabric first. Now, what you'll notice is that sometimes they go off a little bit wobbly, and that is okay. Like I say, you're just going to trim, you can trim back anything. Don't be afraid to do that if you need to. And I think the rule for me is you're going to be sewing on 1/4 of an inch. So if this isn't quite straight, I'm not going to worry about it, because it's going to be within that 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, and I'm not going to see it necessarily. So you can cut these away if you want. If you want to sew them 1/2 inch away and keep those little tiny bits, then you can. But otherwise, just snip away that seam allowance. You can keep it on the nose one. On some of them I did, and it just gave it a little bit extra sort of depth, I guess. So that is the bottom part of his body done. And then this is the middle part here. So again, we're going to do exactly the same, and these 2 squares, and they literally just layer up like this, and this was how I did it, layer by layer by layer, and then you sew them together as you go. So just from the centre, go out. Again, you don't want to pull that bias line out, so go from the middle out, from the middle out. And then we're going to sew again down both of those. So I've done that again. You can cut those away and then press. And the little lines like this just do such a great job. I kind of feel like the big irons are sort of overkill a little bit. But the little irons that we had yesterday and today. Yesterday's was a steam iron. I think I've got one of those left somewhere. Today's comes with a spritzer bottle instead. So we're starting to build up this body. Bump, 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 bump. So the next is to add on the sides. Organisation is the key to this make for sure. And just labelling everything. I just had piles and piles of everything labelled. But these are probably some of the most versatile fabrics that I've used, to be honest. They're not particularly masculine or feminine, so you've got that nice gender neutrality about them. If you're making for young children, then they are very appealing for them. If you're making for people my age, I also love them. All these things work. And I would just pin these. If you want to find the centre and just marry up the centre, because sometimes, depending on how rigid you've been with that seam allowance, or you see here, I'm going to fold to the bit that hasn't been cut and added on. That's my centre line there. It's going there, so I'm just going to marry up those centre lines, pop a pin in the centre, and then if you need to, just, it would help if I actually put it in the centre, that would have helped tremendously. There we go. And then just stitch across that. Fabric is very forgiving, isn't it? If you need to give it a little, again, and this just depends on how absolutely rigid you've been with your 1/4 of an inch. If you've got this 1/4 of an inch on this machine, it can be slightly larger. But only by like millimetres. So it just means that I need to give it a little bit more. There we go. Oomph. And there it is. So that's the body. And now we've got to get the head part put together. So this is the top block up here. So we're just missing that strip that is the face. These are the side blocks there. So it really is now just that middle piece, and that's all contained in here. So let's have a look at this. Now this is where I'm going to just find, I've put away the wrong instructions, because whilst it's very easy to do the snowball, when you come to doing the rectangles, which is what we're now looking at, somewhere, I've mixed up all the instructions, haven't I? Well done me. It gives you really good instructions on how to do, here we go, how to do these middle blocks. Why we're giving you both instructions, but if you're going for the the long 1/4 bundle, don't worry about it, because you can download these off Tilda as well. They are free patterns. If you're going for the ½ metre bundle with the £25 discount, then you can get all these sent with you. I'll print them all off and send them with you, no problem at all. So these are the scarf pieces here. So you're going to draw on your 1/4 of an inch seam allowance all the way around. Now, I'll show you this on this one. When it comes to doing the scarf, there we go. So that is, you've got your 1/4 of an inch drawn on all the way on there, and then pop these right sides down, and you're going to draw the diagonal lines on, but you are going to draw them on from that 1/4 of an inch. So I'm just going to mark where that 1/4 of an inch is, top and bottom, and the same to go here as well. You can draw it all on all the way around, but actually, and then that's going to be my sewing line just on that 1/4 of an inch, from the 1/4 of an inch to the 1/4 of an inch. And then you want to get your pins. Measure in, it says there, 1.5 inches in from the very end. And mark that there. And then 1.5 inches in, and mark that on the 1/4 of an inch line there. Now, we're going to take this one. It feels all sorts of counterintuitive. Put your pin through that 1/4 of an inch mark at the end, and that is going to go into that 1/2 inch mark there. I don't pin it in yet. I'm then going to get my next pin, put that in at the other end where we finish at that 1/4 of an inch, and put that into that corner there where we measured, where the 1/4 of an inch lines mark. And then what you'll see so this is how it starts to look. So I would just give that a little wiggle, give that a little wiggle, and then you know that everything is lying straight. And then what you can do is pop a little pin there. Then you can take that pin out, pop it in there, because if you keep the pins in there, you've got nothing to, you have to take them out the minute that that sewing machine hits there. And then if you want to shorten your stitch length as well, then you can, just to give it that little bit of greater accuracy. I would finger press, because if I go in with my heat at this point, then that's not going to be great. Now, I've obviously moved that over ever so slightly, but what I want to show you is it doesn't matter. As long as that is going to give me enough within my 1/4 of an inch, I'm okay with that. Alright, and then here, because I stressed about these. Oh boy, did I stress about these. It's like, I can't do this. But then I quickly started to realise that you've got some wiggle room because of the seam allowance. So again, we're going on that 1.5 inch mark there. And if you want to, then you can pop that in place. You can always sort of fold that down and check that that is indeed going to work. And then stitch on that line. Oops, I changed the angle. There we go. And then just press those down towards there, and that up and away to there. Now, you can see that I have not quite hit those lines. I'm really not going to worry about it at all. I'm going to trim off my excess from underneath. And if you want to, I'll go from the back if you want to just trim it down and make it look neat. that is one side of your scarf done. I don't tend to trim everything away from there because actually having that little bit of extra layering not only means that if you've gone a bit skew, if you've got your mark for where that square is, but it also gives it a little bit of extra oomph, if you like. So that's that one. And then similarly, we've got the top of the head there to sew, the bottom of the scarf, which is going to go there. Again, everything is labelled, and then that will sit there. This sits underneath, that sits there. I had another one, there we go, and that one sits there, and it will all come together. But now we've got to do this bit. So this is this part here, and again you can draw on that 1/4 inch, and again I would always use a heat erasable pen. So that's your 1/4 inch on there, and that goes so that the widest part is there. And then I'm going to turn this so you can see this one is slightly longer this way. So with the rectangle there, again I'm just going to measure in my 1/4 inch there and there. The first one feels quite daunting, and then when you've done a row of them, it's like, oh yeah, no, we're just doing this now. So it's, that one is with the longer sides going left to right, longer sides going top to bottom there, and you're just going to put it on a wonk is the thing. And again on that 1/4 inch you're going to marry up the 1/4 inch lines there and there. Same down here. That's my 1/4 inch mark. That's my 1/4 inch mark. Hopes if I get it right. And by giving them a little bit of a wiggle, they then lie hopefully in the correct place. And if you need to, pop a pin down both sides before you take those out, and sew on that line, not off the end, just on that line. So between that line and that line is where we're going to sew. And that's why I said if you want to shorten your stitch a little bit, then you can, just to make sure that you accurately get there. And then finger press it, then heat press it. That gets rid of all the marks. Now this is his nose, so again you've got some trimming of the other side of the rectangle to take out. But if you want to leave that layer on underneath, it does give it that little bit of extra relief. So his nose is going to sit like that. We're going to piece these two together, and we sew these together. We've got to put those, and then it all just starts to come together. So it's very methodical, really. Because then this piece here, I can take that label off, will go onto there. And then we'll need to get the third side, the third sort of row. So again, just put the heat on, that just sets your seams, and then press it away. and that just hits that point there, which is really lovely. So here on these, this time the diagonal lines go in like that. So let's just, I would always draw these diagonal lines on so you don't get tempted to sew them any other way. So we'll sew those on, and then that's that third row then done and created. Now again, because they are on the bias, they might distort slightly. Don't worry about it. So we put that right sides together, and then this creates here we go, this last part of the middle block. So now we're going to put the end piece on, again right sides together, and sew both those end pieces on. So that's the scarf, and then there's a plain block to go on the other side. And then give it a press. Now for me, I am not someone that is great at following other people's instructions, and I'm not a big quilter. I do like to quilt occasionally, so for me to be able to do this, I've always really enjoyed these Tilda cushions and creating them. But I wouldn't say that it was where my strengths lay at all. So if I can do it, I guess what I'm saying is that you can too. So then pop your top piece on there. Give that a little press, and then this then goes right sides together here, and if you want to pin it in place then you can. Now this is one of the things that Jane taught me, and that is sew from the side that has the most information. So this is the side that has the most bits, so I'm sewing from that side. Now we do have a few Tilda button packs remaining. If you want to use Tilda buttons on yours, I'm going to use our Handmade with Love wooden buttons. That is one Snowman Block. Oh, brilliant. Thank you, Jane.
There's not a great deal left, just to...
Okay, has Gemma popped her up to the left?
Left.
Are they just bolt ends or...?
Well, we can... Whatever.
Oh, but we've got enough of wood.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have got some brushed cotton left. If you want to make some, maybe, you know, do sort of 2 or 3 strips and then do that as a quilt, or maybe just because this is sort of modular, isn't it? It's a block. You can make as many of these as you want. So if you wanted to do just a child's quilt and do sort of 2 rows of 4, or however you want to do it, or 2 rows of 4 and a row of hearts, or however you want to do it. If you want to do it full size, then do. But you can back them in. We've got some lovely brushed cotton left. I've got it in cream and I've got some in blue. When they're gone, they are gone. But Jane did say to me, oh, do you know what, actually, they would have backed yesterday's quilt beautifully. And indeed they would. So I'm sure Gemma has got that all under control with Jane. Oh, only one of the big old discount bundles left. Oh my goodness me. So well done for those of you that have got that today. Just beautiful. And Laura says, can you thank Jane for me as I completed one of my dreaded quilts after Jane gave me a motivational talk on your show. 2 more unfinished quilts to go. That's what we're here for. Oh, they've sold out. They sold out. Right. Okay. What about the fat quarter, the long quarter ones? Can we shenanigate any of those around? I just love this block. I just think it's absolutely gorgeous. And as you've seen, it is simple to do. Honestly, it's simple to do. Just make sure that you label all your cutting bits as you do them. And that's it. I'm going to have mine as a lovely... Oh, I might put it on the sideboard, or I might hang it. I might hang it and then put my little stuffy ones underneath. But you can play and have yours however you wish. Oh, what's Gemma saying to me now? Gemma has managed to get more of the lupine and do some shenanigating of stock. Okay, so we can load a few extra bundles, but that will be that. That was always the idea with today's show. I would get that fabric in and then it had to go out very, 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 very quickly because obviously we move warehouse this month. This is the month. Oh, hello, Mortimer. Hi. No, you're not going anywhere near that brush cotton. I'm going to tell you that now. It's like, did someone say brush cotton? That's my favourite. This is Naughty Morty. If any of you ever heard us refer to Naughty Morty before, this is Naughty Morty. This, if you ever had the strip rug, the original version, there was a kitten featured on the front of that strip rug. This is him. Here he is. And he is very, very happy. He's huge. You're a big cat, aren't you, Morts? This is the one that when I walk down the stairs, well, I've honestly seen him surf down the banister, sit on the newel post at the bottom, and then smack me around the face. He never puts his claws out, do you? He's just like, come on, human, sort it out. And then as soon as Freddie's home and sitting down, that's it. He's in that lap. Aren't you? You are that boy's cat. Yes. Yes, yes. But he comes for walks with us. He does also. He's not really a cat, are you? However, you do not go near stock. Thank you ever so much for watching today. We have... No, absolutely not. No, 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 you can go out. There are certain places he is not allowed. Right. So, I left the door open. Friday deals. Oof. Friday deals are a biggie. It's Tilda themed. We are launching on the Friday deals the Tilda Christmas fabrics. They are stunning. Again, there are only a few that are particularly Christmassy, but they are stunningly Christmassy. The rest are just Tilda at her absolute best. We have done that thing where we will give you free wax fabrics to go with it. I think it will be the chocolate drill for some. Again, once they come in, it's just an idea of getting to see which ones go with which, because we know that the Tilda and the wax just work so beautifully together colour-wise. So we will offer, it will probably be it will be, as things stand, the last time that we ever offer any of the free technical fabrics with the Tilda bundles. We've done it with the last two collections, but we are getting to the last of the wax, so we won't be able to do it again. So yeah, grab those, grab the deals, grab what you can, but Friday is the pre-order. They are not released until the 1st of September. So they will go to the new warehouse, which is why it's quite exciting to be they'll be the first things cut in the new warehouse, which is very, very, very exciting. So do take a look at that. You know that we always do pre-orders, and it's your pre-orders that have the discounts. So they are the deals. And then we know where we're at. So you can get a mega bundle of everything, or you can go for the colour families. There are 4 different colour families, 5 fabrics in each of the 4 different colour families. We do them as long quarters for you, or you just do your multipliers up if you want half meters. Put 2, we will cut them continuously, as you know. So Friday is the one to watch out for your Friday deals, because they are in there, along with some other rather useful ones. And then Monday, we're going to make a polar bear. We had a request on Monday's Zoom, which was, could we get some white velvet in and make a polar bear? So that is what we're going to do. So do join us on Monday. Thank you ever so much for watching today. Thank you ever so much for buying. It's what makes us tick. So thank you ever so much. If you've enjoyed the show, please like and share it. And I will see you live on Monday. Take care. Lots of love. Bye-bye.